Best soldering accessories. Apart from the soldering tools, accessories also play an important part in ensuring that you perform the soldering effectively and safely. Below is the complete list of accessories that you will need while performing soldering. 1. Soldering preheaters. When you use hot air guns for soldering, you will face the issue of overheating the materials. The overheating will damage the materials. Besides, a sudden increase in temperature will lead to thermal shock. To avoid this, you have to use a preheater. The primary purpose of a preheater is to gradually raise the temperature of the materials. 2. Soldering helping hands. The soldering helping hands have hand-like clutches that can hold wires when you are soldering. This allows you to create precision joints. The number of hands differs from one model to another. Most models come with 2 hands, while some can have 4. You can also place the soldering iron on these hands. 3. Soldering mat. A soldering mat is heat-resistant and protects your floors, walls, cables, and other flammable materials when you are soldering. The soldering mats can resist heat up to 1250 degrees Celsius. The soldering mat is generally used while soldering copper pipes and plumbing, but you can use it for all soldering purposes as well. 4. Soldering magnifying glass. A soldering magnifying glass is used in microelectronic soldering works. Microelectronic soldering requires a high level of precision that is not possible with the naked eye, so you have to use a magnifying glass to see the electronic parts clearly. The magnifying glasses will come with a stand so that you don't have to hold them. They have a magnification range of 2x to 10x depending on the model. 5. Smoke absorber. The fumes released during soldering can be very toxic. Especially if you are using lead-based solder, the soldering fumes can cause irreversible health damages. To protect yourself from inhaling toxic fumes, you can use a smoke absorber. The smoke absorber comes with a fan and a filtration unit that absorbs the fumes and filters them. You can just place them on a table. Some bigger units are kept on the floor. 6. Solder tape. These solder tapes are used to hold the binding metal parts together while soldering. It has a high heat resistance and prevents the heat from transferring to other parts of the metal. The solder tapes come with widths ranging between 1/8 inches and 2 inches. 8. Soldering iron tip cleaner, brass wool. After the completion of soldering, you have to clean the tip of the soldering iron to remove the solder and carbon material. For this, you can use brass wool. It is a type of dry cleaner that is made of soft metal shavings and coated with flux. You have to thrust the iron tip into the brass wool a few times to clean it. 9. Solder stand. A solder stand is used to safely keep the soldering tools when not in use. The most common stand you will come across is the soldering iron stand. It allows you to keep the hot soldering iron away from your work area after use. It also makes it easier for you to clean the soldering iron tips. 10. Soldering tip tinner. The soldering tip tinner is made of mild acid and is used to prevent the oxidation of the soldering iron tip when you are not using it. Besides, you can also use it to remove the residue after soldering. You have to insert the soldering iron tip into the tinner and then wipe it with a damp sponge or cloth. This will remove the residue and prevent oxidation of the tip. 12. Soldering visor. If you have soldering helping hands, then you can get away with most soldering jobs. But sometimes the helping hand might not stay stable. In such situations, you can opt for a soldering vise. It looks like a regular vise, but it is a downsized version. These mini vises can hold circuit boards very firmly, and you don't have to worry about movements, jerks, or any stability issues.